Hello everyone. How are we? Let us know if you can hear me okay. And obviously you could hear that because I could see your comments. Let's get the mic set up. I think Andy's here. Hello Andy.
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Long time no see, matey.
Coming through.
Yeah, let's
yes,
just
indeed.
let's get cameras happening. I'll just make it so that you are on here instead of these. Oh, why do we need these things on here? We don't need these things.
They're very pretty. Much prettier than me.
Which one's that one? That can be. I always stuff this up. So that can be me. That can be you, Brooksy. You can be there. There you are.
Oh, there I am.
And we've got no one else in just yet, so we shall. We'll just persevere with that, hey? In fact, I can even just do this.
Why not? Why not?
How is everyone? I'm still suffering a little bit from the tail end of the dreaded
C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll hear me sort of. You'll hear me sort of sounding a little bit nasally still, but no more. Well, I mean, when I did the show last week, I still had a fever and stuff. So
you went above and beyond there, Rance. Yeah.
Well, it's been a while. So yeah. Now, while I'm talking to you, I'm going to still see if I can get the rest of these cameras set up properly. What have you been up to? You been up to anything brilliant or?
Well, no, I've actually not been very well. Me and my health. Well, a combination of physical and mental. Really, I mean, the Christmas holiday, there's that far ago, were actually pretty awful. I was not sleeping well and all sorts, and it's all to do with that bloody car accident in August and the aftermaths of that, and the dealing with the insurance. It just dragged on and on. It really, really, really got me down. It's now actually all sorted, pretty much. There's one or two more battles to fight, but the paying up is now all resolved, and I've now got a car. Hooray! Because that was really getting me down.
That did drag on, didn't it? Because I mean,
yeah, it really did.
When you say it was August, it didn't seem like it was August. But then when you think about it, it was.
It's the 24th of August. Yeah, and eventually it dragged on, and the hire car company that were providing me with the car, they said, well, we need it back now. You've had it for longer than you should have. We can't. I'm going, well, what do I need to do? And then my insurance will say, well, we can't do this any longer. You're not covered. They've got to claim it back from the third party, which is refusing to accept any liability, and it's just been a nightmare.
Merry-go-round French crap.
Yeah. There's still a couple of battles on that ground to fight, but by and large that's passed. But it really, really, really ground me down. I was pretty exhausted. There were days when I just couldn't get out of bed. It just put the covers over my head or just curl up reading a book. Sounds pathetic, but honestly, that's the effect of it. So I'm out the other side, hopefully, and feeling a lot perkier and a lot brighter with things. And I mean, I was given the opportunity to play about. When I was up and about, I was playing about in here. I did the EMOM in Sheffield on Thursday night. And that was great. It was a really good event. It was really busy. There were loads of people there. It was really cool. And I took out, a bit like what you've just been doing, I took out 2 cases of modular. I took out the standard case and the what I call my Tangerine Dream case and used them. But blimey, it was hard work. That I don't think I'll be doing that again in a hurry. But it was enjoyable. It was a lot of fun, and it seemed to go down really, really well.
Oh, that's awesome. Now,
hello, Ian.
Ian and Darren have arrived.
Hello. Can you hear me all right?
Hello, Darren.
We can hear you, Ian.
Good evening, good afternoon, all. Hi, Andy.
Hi,
glad
Darren.
that you're back. Hi, Ian. How are you going?
Yeah, hi, Darren. Good to see you.
Good, mate.
Oh, Ian's in my second favourite jumper today.
The other jumper's in the wash. I'm wearing my. Where is it?
Do I need to shift
I'm wearing
you across,
my
Darren?
UK subs.
I think I need shifting quite a bit across.
UK subs. Oh, cool.
All right, mate.
Yeah. Which I was never a fan, but my mate was the roadie for him, so he gave me a badge back in 1982.
bumper sticker, if you can read it. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, don't get too close. Go away. Honestly, every time a lorry passes me these days, I still get like, oh,
yeah,
oh.
Yeah. You've got probably a little bit of PTSD from it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, we were unhurt.
It's not uncommon.
That's the daft thing. We were unhurt, but yeah, they scare the bleeding willies out of me, as Larty Bartfast once said.
Yeah. Well, it's nice that you're not worse off, and it's good that you've got through the nasties. So
yeah, I mean, with all the insurance and stuff. One thing I will say that I know some people sort of turn their noses up at things like gap insurance, but if you're buying a fairly new car, it makes so much sense. Even if you never, hopefully you never need to use it, but I've had to, and it has absolutely proven its worth. That I'm not out of pocket as a result. In fact, as a result of having that gap insurance, I was actually quids in, really, in that sense. The insurance paid out, then they covered the gap in the finance, and they paid out for this, and this, and there was all sorts of little extras that made contributions towards.
I don't think we've got that over here.
New
gap
policies
insurance.
and stuff.
We might.
You might want to have a look. I mean, it basically what it does. I mean, you drive a fairly new car with a forecourt, its value will immediately depreciate by a certain amount, and if your car is then written off for whatever reason, the insurance will not pay out the full value. They never do because they're scumbags. So my car was £12,600, and the insurance offered 11,000. So there was this gap. And eventually they negotiated, and the gap insurance bridged the gap so that I wasn't out of pocket on the finance and all of that. Back to what they call the retail value. It was, it was a relief to have that, because I'd have been sitting there thinking, well, that means I'm gonna have to try and stick, £1,600 of outstanding finance on the next bundle of finance. You just think it just goes on and on. So that's been avoided. So in terms of value, it's back to square one, but I wasn't scrabbling around to work out how to do it. Never seen the point of buying cars new. Well, yeah, you're dead right. I mean, I've never ever bought a brand new car. I mean, my current car is actually only a year old now. But
we did buy a new car actually. So our current car was new. It's 5-6 years old now, but we bought it new.
Yeah.
But for decades, I'd always bought old second-hand cars. I didn't know anything about gap insurance. It's probably because it's probably offered, and I've just completely ignored it. Because just like banks, insurance companies are evil.
Yeah. If you're going to, I have to say, from my experience, this one that was provided through Kia Vauxhall Finance, regulated by BNP, so or BPN, whatever it is, the Banque Nationale de Paris. It was they were absolutely brilliant. They were really fun. No questions, no hassles. They just said, "Yep, fine, no problem, done." The only time it took was with them negotiating with my actual primary finance, my primary insurer, coming to some agreement between themselves. But eventually that did get sorted. But I mean, if you are buying a brand new car or a fairly new car, I've taken out another gap insurance. It was £400, but I know the value of that if you need it. If I never need it, good. But if I do, I know it's there, and I think it's worthwhile. If you're buying a brand new car at £25,500 or whatever, what's an extra £400? Really, in that picture, it's well worth.
So
it.
Is the gap insurance a one-off payment then? Not yearly like normal.
It's just one-off, or it can be included. Right. It can be spread over your finance. I mean, this time I actually just paid for it up front. I just said, "There's £400. I'll have the policy," and it lasts for 3 years, which is usually the lifespan of most people with a car. With 3 years, they tend to change. But
would you like to know how old my car is?
Go on, do tell us. 20.
Any guesses?
30. It's vintage. You don't need to tax it.
While you guys are doing that, I just want to quickly pop this up to say hello to the chatties. And also to show the StreamYard links up if anyone wants to join in. No one's joined in yet, so I'm just keeping an eye on the laptop screen over here.
25-year-old, and it cost me £1,000, and I got it in 2009.
Well, I must be going all right then.
Yeah,
it is.
Good reliable car.
It's just got a cracked windscreen now, which is a bit of a pain because it's hard to get hold of the windscreen for it.
How many miles has it done, Darren?
It's about 150.
Wow.
Oh,
that is good.
That's not too bad.
That's good,
And
actually.
it's on a 1.5 engine. And the only because I used to, well, still do, we have a club for Hondas, so it's a Honda. The only issue we had it was rear brakes because of the pain on the Hondas. They just don't know how to do rear brakes for some reason. They're very weak. But other than that, 2009, just your general wear and tear. So it's, I've said it now, Anna. Touch wood. It's been fine.
We're doing it. We're all touching it. Definitely.
Just touch my head. That's wood enough for me. Okay, we should probably roll the start of the show. Yes, we are all here. Fantastic. You need to see me. We are just waiting on Andy, Synth Addict, to come in. So that's why there's a black screen up in the top right-hand corner. And that will just magically appear with his lovely face when he... I think he's probably jumped in the shower to wake himself up. It's like 5 a.m. over there. So it's nice to have everyone here. I'm going to go from next to me first. Big hello to you, Darren. How's your week been?
Hello, how's my week been? It's been okay. I've been working hard on the Life We Live 2 album. I've literally got, you may have seen some who follow me on Bandcamp. I've put the track names down that are going to be on the album. So I've literally got all the 9 tracks in writing progress, as I should say, because I don't always finish each track. Because I have the ideas for each track and I need to start it quickly before the idea goes. So I've got 9 tracks just in the works now. So it's just a matter of time on finishing them. So that's been doing all this week. In fact, I was doing it before I even came on the show because I had this little melody that I needed to try and get right for one of the tracks. Other than that, that's what I've been doing. If I have to shoot off for a few seconds, if you see me disappear, it's because there's a delivery coming and there's only me in. And I have to keep looking out every so often. So,
no problem at all.
Yeah, just if I suddenly disappear.
Yeah, now I did see something pop out from you from Bandcamp, and I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Was that just over the last 24 hours?
It might have been Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, it probably was, Friday, 24.
Don't forget, we're about 8 hours in front of you, so days kind of skiff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was for the Life We Lead 2, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's going to be. You're going to really like this. Well, if you like the last one, you'll like this one. It's a sort of more thoughtful, more emotional, more just very similar to the first one. But yeah, so hopefully that'll be. It's not coming in the next couple of weeks, but it will be out this half of the year. Anyway, it'll be before spring, before mid-spring, I would say, because the tracks, like I say, I've actually written them out now, so it's just a matter of finishing them off all I want, and then uploading it so you can all have a listen. But other than that, that's about all I've been doing this week.
Well, that's quite a bit. Yes, thank you for sharing. All right, next is Andy, but he's not here. Then we've got Ian. Big hello to you. How's your week been, mate?
Yeah, it's been good, actually. Put out the February Audiophile radio show, which Darren's tracks played on it, and there's a piece by Andy, Synth Addict. Yesterday I got a message from my friend to say that I'd contributed to, I think I've probably said this before, I contributed to an album. This is done last summer. But the album was actually released yesterday, which is called the All Star University Volume 1 by Ryan Sherlock. It's sort of folk electronica stuff. It's on cassette. It's coming out it's on cassette. So there's a cassette in the post for me, apparently. And it's on Bandcamp, so you get a digital version. But I've had it since December. Okay. Those are the main 2 things that have happened this week. All
Fantastic.
good fun.
Awesome. And you got some nice gear down there. What is
Yeah,
that,
I'm
like
messing around with. I'm actually messing around with the organelle, but I'm putting things through it
Right.
with contact mics and lyres, harps and stuff.
Yeah, nice.
Is that a lyre?
It's a lyre. It's a lyre harp. Yeah.
Like the proper-
Don't call
like
me
the
a liar.
Greek lyre. Lovely.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now,
So
Brooksy.
this could say that may be my next EMOM, but we'll
Okay.
see.
All right. Awesome.
Electroacoustic EMOM. Cool.
Yeah.
Hiya. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It was like
all sorts of reasons.
maybe November was the last time you were on the show, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe December. Maybe early December.
December sometime.
Yeah.
December. Yeah, just been mooching about, messing about in here, having a bit of a rethink of the way these things are set up. I did the Sheffield EMOM on Thursday, and the last track that I did with Grace Griffin for Hardware Jams, we did a definite sort of Berlin school feel thing. That was because it was my birthday, so we decided we'd indulge one of my sort of musical fetishes, and then I thought, well, that's all. I could still do that, and I could do that at the EMOM. I could do a Berlin school type thing, and then incorporate the other bits with it. Oh, now, gosh, that took quite a lot of working out, and it was 2 cases of modular at the EMOM. I had to seriously. On all these cables here, a lot of the ones that have to go into the second case. I mean, there's not a lot of stuff in that second case, especially the Pro 1, the Model D, the 960 sequencer, and the phaser and noise, and the nostalgia delay. So it was sort of about 8 cables coming over from there, all of which I had to label up to say exactly which socket it had to go in, so I could put them in quickly. Because you do only get sort of 15 minutes to set it all up, and no time to check whether it was in tune or not. So on the night, the tuning thing was a real issue. But at the end of the day, you have to make a feature of it. So things which are supposed to be nice little tinkly sort of diddle 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 sequences coming over the top of the main thing, they were way off. So I just had to make them silly. And but it was really enjoyable. I had a good time. There was a great crowd at the EMOM in Sheffield on Thursday. It was really busy. There was probably 100 people there. A lot of performers, a lot of people just coming to watch, interested people rather than just being the performers themselves watching the performers. There were a lot of folk. So really successful night. Really enjoyed it.
You see, Andy, this is why I wouldn't be any good taking my modular, because I don't use it as sounds. I don't use it as creating things like you do. So I'd have to think of a different way around it.
Yeah. I mean, you've got little groove box. You should get yourself. Get your circuit and something else and plug them together and off you go. I'm sure you could do it. Yeah, it's great.
But watch this space, because this year I'm thinking of doing something a bit more. You know me, I can't just say I'll do a little groove box. It has to be something different on it. So keep your eyes open this year. I might be same way as the next.
I'm sure enough. Yeah, well, there's definitely one in Manchester. There's definitely one, I think, from Manchester. Easy reach from Manchester in a 25-year-old car. Huddersfield.
All right, don't play the 25-year-old car.
Huddersfield, Leeds. Blackpool. You could live up the road to Blackpool. Do Jamie's in Blackpool.
Yeah. Like I say, watch this space. Hopefully, at some point later on in the year, if the ideas are coming together.
Make sure you bring your Bastel. Bring your Bastel.
The Bastel. No, this will be. Well, it's like, I don't know whether I want to play my tracks that are out in a way, or whether to just do improvisation, or I don't know yet. But a few ideas are coming to
do both.
I usually do.
So it's like playing parts of albums and improvisation as well.
Yeah, I normally do something different on every one. So I usually I'll rehearse the improvisation, but I always like to use different bit of kit every time. And actually do something brand new every time, which I usually try and record, and hopefully it might end up on an album at some point in the future.
Well, you see, one of the parcels that have come in today is the first thing I've bought.
I need to go for that. So I need to go to the next thing. So Chris has joined us on StreamYard, and he's He's the first person who's joined
Hi,
us, and we're
Chris.
just going to check to make sure
Hi,
his
Chris.
sound is working and everything.
Hey, Chris.
Testing 1,
How's
2,
your bopping with your
3,
feet in your head?
3.
Yeah, it's sounding okay.
Is it working?
Yep, we can hear you.
Excellent.
You can hear us. That's good.
That's
Now-
all we want.
Now, just to share, Chris is actually in the same city as me. It is absolutely sweltering today. I think it almost hit 40 degrees Celsius. Not quite. I think it was 39. I've got the air conditioning on in here, and I'm still sweating. How are you coping in your room there? Have you got aircon?
I've got the aircon on and a fan
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
I need both.
it is so hot here
Yeah.
today.
I stupidly went out for a walk because I had my day of constitutional, and that was pretty intense.
Yeah,
But we get it here in Perth, so
it's
we
currently
kinda get used to it
32,
after.
and it's
Yeah,
like
it's but
9 o'clock at night.
it's only going to get down to 26, I think they said. tonight, so.
I'm gonna- Yeah, well, that's the key. How's your week been anyway, Chris?
My week's been pretty good. I've got some pretty good news today, actually. Hang on, I'll just bring up my phone for a sec. If I can get this right.
Your PCBs are shipped. Nice.
Shipped
PCB
by
way.
PCB way.
The GP82 is coming.
Wow. So, just
So,
for those
yeah,
who
exciting.
don't know you, just share that with them. It's a eurorack little project you've been working on, right?
Yeah, it's basically a companion module for the 182 sequencer that gives it the capability of using one of the pairs of sequence outputs as either a gate adjustment or as a ratchet adjustment. So it'll produce one or the other depending on which inputs you plug it into and stuff like that.
Nice. Now, I've just
some
noticed
other useful
your
things.
microphone is a little quiet,
Is it?
and I'm just wondering if that
Is it
one
quiet?
is that the one that's working, or are you working through your
Oh,
laptop mic?
okay. I may have to change my configuration. You're probably
Yeah.
getting on my laptop.
I think you're on a
sorry
laptop
about
mic. What we'll do
that.
is
It always chooses
we'll
a different
disappear
one.
from you for a sec, and we'll bring you back in a second once you've got that sorted. Fantastic. Well, anyway, whoever else is in StreamYard, no one else yet. The link is in the chat. I'll just paste it in again. There it is there, everybody. Just click on it if you want to join. Anyone can join. You don't have to be someone special or anything like that. Don't be scared. It's good fun. What do they say? Break a leg, or what's when you're
Break a
trusting
leg.
out for the first time? Yeah, break a leg.
Check one, two,
Oh, no,
check
it's on the stage, isn't it? Break a leg.
Well, I don't
It's
know.
not for the first time, though.
When you're trying something like a
I can
guinea
do that
pig,
getting in the studio with them.
be a guinea pig.
So small and wiser about.
Yeah. Right, now we are going to get stuck into the show. First off the rank is Funny Side.
Oh, I'd do with a laugh.
Yes, Beethoven. He's dead. Sorry about that if you just heard that breaking news. He always had
Spoiler.
a pen in his hand. He used to like to wear neckerchiefs. Doesn't know who... Catch your mayonnaise. Anyway, you can read this. But Beethoven, on the other hand, he's alive. He's a Grammy Award winner. Owns many chains, as you can see. Is friends with Gucci Mane. Anyway, there we go. His name is actually worth 22 points in Scrabble. Just if you want. I don't think you would actually be allowed to have his name in Scrabble. Technically, I think it's probably not allowed. But anyway. Good comparison there. Yeah, moving right along. This one was sent in by
Go on
Robbie
some-
Puricelli, who's in the chat room as Failed Muso.
Oh, yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
for sending this in, mate. We've actually seen these before, but this one is actually if you were to do it properly. So if you were to do it properly, this is what would happen on the right-hand side. You're a synth person, you're just going to buy more synths and pianos and keyboards and arrangers and stuff. Right? There's not going to be extra females. Anyway, you can dream as much as you like. Thanks, Robbie. What about this one? The telephone microphone. I don't know if this is quite going to have the same effect as some of those vocoder effects, but hey.
Well, I know somebody who did just that very thing and used it for live, and it was a really brilliant effect using a telephone speaker with the thing
as a microphone,
as an extra. Oh, it was great. So it's definitely a thing. Definitely a thing.
Definitely a £40 thing though. Not sure.
It's a bit short, isn't it?
It's very short. Yeah, you have to sit up at the mixing desk, actually behind the mixing desk. Mates. Next one. Yes. Someone who's been already watching the news segment, which is about to happen, has spotted the fart switch on the right-hand side. Yeah, I don't know if it actually says fart, but yeah, fart switch. Plug your synth in and switch it to fart mode. I don't know why he's looking so confused. I actually think most people would actually think that's a good idea to have a fart switch on a effects pedal, because you don't have to buy Eurorack then and make fart sounds. You can just use the switch. Anyway, favorite meme of the week.
I like Robbie's actually.
Robbie's?
Well,
Telephone.
I'd like to take issue with the first one. Yeah, the telephone for me too, because it's real. I'd take issue with the first one. That other guy, Zaytoven, must be going to him on the piano if he was better on the piano than Beethoven himself. Not convinced. I'm going to get really...
Am I the only person that's never heard of him?
He won a Grammy.
I've never heard of him.
According to the meme.
I've heard of Beethoven.
I've never heard of him either.
Yeah, I actually quite like Beethoven stuff.
Well, I love Beethoven. I love Beethoven. Beethoven every day. Got to have some Beethoven every day. Keeps me going.
Chatties are saying fart mode. They like the fart mode. They like the phone. I think fart mode's kind of winning.
That's just because of the word fart.
That is literally marketing genius on behalf of Strymon, don't you think? I mean, they might be onto something here. If you just give people what they truly, really want. For you, Brooksy, it's a
people
telephone,
love scatological humor,
cable,
so yeah.
And for other people, it's a fart mode on a guitar pedal.
Hi, Randy.
Hi, Andy. Good morning, Andy.
Hey guys, how's it going?
There you go, Andy. We'll get to you.
Sorry, I had some tech issues. I'm here. So.
That's right. We'll get to you in a sec to say g'day. But yeah, we are now going to get straight into news because I want to get through this stuff. News, actually. Quite a bit of news. Starting with this thing. There's actually two things from these people. From Noise Toys, spelt differently. But yeah, let's have a quick chat about this and then we'll watch a tiny little part of the video and what we usually do. The NT05 is what you're looking at there, the rhythm box. Excuse me while I'm still suffering from COVID. So it's a lo-fi rhythm box. It has, the nice little sort of joystick and stuff there. But what is it? It's two voices, sine and a noise section, two sequences with selectable rhythms, two pad envelopes, single LFO, and the joystick, of course. Don't really know if it's analog or digital. I would guess it's digital, but that's just a guess. The design of the groove box is quite different. You guys would probably agree. It looks quite unique in that sense. And there's some, various parameters and stuff located on the back. I've got other photos I can show you, but I think it's actually in the video that they show. There's kind of like a, you can't see it in this photo, this is like a slopey section that goes down where the joystick is, and there's more stuff on the back. What else can I tell you? The sine and the noise kind of interact with the sequencer, making it a rhythmic sound. But anyway, let's watch videos, and I can mute myself and clear my throat at the same time because I probably sound horrible. Okay, which button are we up to? This one. guys don't mind if I sort of skip a bit here, right? Anyway, a nice kind of
let me down.
demos, people. Get your demos in.
That was looking so good, and I like the look of it, very retro. And then,
demos will let you down. Damn, that's why I never get.
Than I thought it was.
That's why I never get sent gear to demo, because I absolutely balk it too. So I completely know how people feel who are doing demo videos, because everyone is very critical of them. I didn't mind it too much because I thought it showed some of the features of it, and it definitely was very FM-y, and I think some people like Mr. Puricelli would like that sort of stuff. I love noisy-based, things that can generate noise, and then you can chuck noise through an envelope and a filter, and you've got all sorts of cool sounds, snappy sounds, long sounds. I think it's interesting. $375 US for that. Quick comment on that, and we'll go across to the next product from the same crowd.
I love the fact it's a Fisher-Price toy. For those of you that don't know, that Fisher-Price are sort of a kids brand in the UK, but it just looks like a Fisher-Price toy. It's fab. Yeah.
It's awesome.
I was hoping it was going to be, 70 or 80 quid, but so 350 euros. Yeah. I mean, if it was less than 100 quid, I'd definitely be buying one, but at 300 plus, it's a bit pricey for me, I think.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'd want it a bit more the size of a sort of Roland TR8 size. So maybe not quite as big, but a bit bigger than it was. Vocally, small switches, a bit small for me. Yeah, unfortunately, I think a better demo would have helped. And I get that people with demos, but I like the look. I think it looks quite retro-y, and it's a bit expensive. But if it's a boutique type thing. Yeah, I'm a bit underwhelmed by it, I'm afraid.
Right.
Yeah.
Brooksy?
It's kind of funny. They beat Behringer to market with the Soul Synth. It's the same form factor as the Soul Synth.
Yeah.
And got Atari Punk and Nintendo.
My button pressing's terrible today, sorry. I was after Brooksy, but that's okay. We'll go to him.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Well, I was going to say similar things. I thought it looked great. I'm not bothered whether it's a great big thing or a small thing. Probably perfectly usable, but I was rather underwhelmed, like Darren said, by the sound. I was really hoping it would be a bit more grab me by the balls, but other than that, yeah. But anyway, yeah.
This is what the back of it looks like, because I didn't think the video showed it actually.
It's upside down.
Yeah, you kind of look at it.
So you can lean over the back and read it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. So you're kind of leaning over it. It's not the best of shots.
Wow.
But, yeah.
I'll give it the design factor. It must have been. What was he smoking when he did that?
Yeah.
Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why I said that. I've no idea.
Couple of different.
Have you been smoking some Brussels sprouts on there?
If you inhale too much solid flux, that will happen. So.
Oh, he's going to kill me, this guy. Anyway, there's a little website you can check this out. Links are always in the blog articles that get posted tomorrow or this evening for you guys. Quite a bit of info on it. Different flavors.
I'll give him that. At least he's gone. I'm not going to be like everybody else. I'm going to do something slightly different.
Nice colour range.
Yeah, good colour range. Okay, now there is another one that he's done, and it is this thing. It's called the NTSH. The NTSH is it's a little noise synth, basically.
I'm getting the feeling it's going to be very little.
So you can see there's a VCO with sample and hold, and some controls over the envelope and the sample and hold and stuff like that. Pretty basic stuff. But let's have a little squiz at the vid.
Are them PlayStation flipping thing is.
Oh, how's your ears?
Yeah.
I kind of think this is not to be confused with the Korg and NTS1 in kind of a similar sort of in a similar way, but very very small. You could see, it's a couple of fingers wide. This thing, this thing is just kind of like a little generator that I reckon you just fiddle around with joysticks, and it's almost West Coast type style of synthesis in that sense, because you're not relying on your standard keyboard pitch separation between, do you know what I mean? Like it seems to be sort of fairly free tuned, and you just muck around with it and get it that way, and a lot of people are actually digging that sort of stuff. Anyway, quick comment on the NTSH. I can tell you that it is 150 for that one. So
it is a cute little guy.
We'll go with you first, Andy, because you.
I like the joystick thing.
It's like it looks like a mini Sim almost, even though it doesn't sound anything like one. But
yeah,
they Perfect Circuit and Big City Music and all those guys have tons of boutique things like this. So this isn't unusual to come out, because there are tons of little manufacturers that make these things. Some are like made in garages.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to say, between those two units, they still are way more useful than this, which is a piece of crap, and way more useful than this, which is considered better. So,
considered by who? By Akai.
Oh, that's what I've
just ask Akai; they'll tell you. Yeah. Andy, they do actually have some more information here on their website. So it says it is a white noise generator, a square wave oscillator, 12 dB resonant L low pass filter, sample and hold an envelope generator, and it does tell you a little bit about what all the little switches and stuff does. There's a good little photo of the two together, so you kind of get an idea. Waiting for it to load. Wow, it's another prototype sort of thing there, but you kind of get an idea of size anyway. Anyone else want to comment on the NTSH, or both of them, either of them? Noisetoys.com, NOYSTOISE. Noise Toys.
He's found a big bag of PlayStation joysticks.
Yeah. From
what can I do with them?
AliExpress.
I'll give him that. I mean, they look really cute and sort of, really differently designed, and I give him that. I just don't think it's for me. Although, watch this, I'll be at next email with all those set up.
$150 for the NTSH and $375. These are US for the NT05. Okay.
I mean, there are some modules that cost double that. They're about as useful. So
modules. I can see me all spending quite a lot of money on all those little gadgets. That the ones that are 150 or 300, and then put it into something like a Strymon that costs £450 just to make it sound different.
I will admit. So. I mean, you guys know that I've been going through a bit of a studio clean out, and one of the things that you do when you go through a studio clean out is you've got to go and find all the power supplies for all the little gadgets you've got, right, that you're selling. And I had a big 80-litre plastic tub where I had all my power supplies that weren't currently in use, all nicely, velcroed up and labelled with a, dyno labelled. And that 80-litre bin thing now is about 2/3 empty from getting rid of all these little tiny gadgets like Korg Volkers and boutiques and things like that. And I'm just thinking like something like that. You've got to have another wall wart sitting in a box while you're not using it, and they take up power points, and you've got to buy all these power boards if you want to have all this stuff out. I just think we need to get as an electronic music tech industry, we need to get a bit more smarter about how we power all our gear, because I think Eurorack's definitely been clever in that regard, because you've got your rails and you just plug your modules in, and that makes things life quite easy. But yeah, these little boxes that sit on your desk, you got to find a spot for them in your power board. It's a bit annoying. Sorry, I thought it was
that and standardise if you're going to do it the power brick way, so that you don't need so many power bricks for everything. So more standard.
Yeah, because it's like
identical for everything, but at least more
positive,
so
negative, 9 volts, 12 volts.
Same power.
Yep.
Completely stupid different things.
It is, and some of them when you plug them in, they plug in left, or they plug into the right, or they plug up, and some of them you can't fit them in a socket properly because they get in the way of other sockets. Yeah, so you're right, Darren. Standardise it, and no USB micro. No USB micro. That should be banned. That product.
Just get rid of USB powerful stuff. It's just erg.
I'm not a fan of USB power.
Hey, let's get going. Finished with that. How about Pittsburgh Modular and the Tiger?
Yes.
Tiger.
Burning bright.
I reckon Tiger. Let's call it Tiger.
Yeah, he said no.
Tiger. Everyone's called it Tiger.
Yeah. Richard called it a Tiger, didn't he?
Richard did.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Modular.
Yeah.
Let's see what Richard says. Documentary.
Inspired by nature and driven by the goals of pushing analog synthesis technology forward, Taiga is a showcase of our most creative and exciting new ideas. The sound of Taiga can be attributed to 3 uniquely Pittsburgh innovations. These enable us to not only create sounds that we would traditionally expect from an analog monosynth, but also to explore new sonic textures and performance possibilities. First, the signal pack begins with 3 huge analog oscillators and our custom array of cascading wave shapers. New technology in these wave shapers enables us to fold previously unfoldable waves, unlocking new timbres and deeper sonic complexity.
Now I wonder if the tiger was going to jump out and
it was too much fun there.
Kill the deer, or someone was waiting for the deer to drop its lunch in the background. I thought that was quite funny. Anyway, you guys can watch the rest of that video later. It only goes for another couple of minutes. What do we got? We have a new modular synth, a desktop synth. And I think get excited because the wave folding part of it, I think, is kind of the big selling point, right? It's got 3 oscillators, so it's kind of heading down that mini Moog territory with a nice thick sound. And all of the with the oscillators, this is kind of the big area, is that they've got this kind of cascading wave shaping ability. Let's get the graphic up again so you can see. And then you're able to shape these with CV controls down the bottom. So it's a very, very nice amount of, because these guys are, in the eurorack world, have given us a beautiful amount of CV connectivity for this thing. So you can patch the absolute living gajuba out of it. And it's also normalized as well. So you don't have to patch it as well, which is a nice little touch. Filters in there. What else can we talk about? It's a multi-mode filter. What else? Dynamics controller. It's got some effects in there. It's got analog echoes. You can use it as a MIDI CV tool as well, as on top of using it as a synth, and you can actually put it sort of as a desktop or a semi-modular type setup as well. Now, who has pricked their ears like this and think, yep, I'm definitely going to get one of these? There's been a heap of videos out on this now. We're looking at $800 US. It's not that bad a price, actually. It is a monosynth.
It does sound hefty when you say it, but when you break it down into its component parts and what you're getting, I think it's really good value. This is something that's come out that's really made me go, oh yes, this is something that is definitely being added to the shopping list. I think it's one of the most interesting sounding and most interesting looking devices in a long time, and I'm really I've watched a load of the videos from the. Let's have some fun with it through to the real technical breakdowns of loop hop. I really enjoyed Robin Vincent's video when he was just really enjoying what he did.
Yep.
And I just thought, this is right up my street. This one, I think it's definitely a case of saving the pennies.
Yep. It does have an arpeggiator.
That's what I thought exactly. I thought Andy'll be sat there with his modular, just thinking about having a bad day, and he was just thinking about, God, I want that. I could just see it, and I must admit,
I'm not that transparent, don't I? Yeah, I must be.
Is he polishing his credit card?
No, I'm not doing credit. I'll save up it'll get added to the list, and I'll save up my pennies.
I'll just add to what Andy said. I must admit, I mean, it is expensive, but I do like it. It looks clean, it looks nice, sounds beautiful from what I've heard. Anyway, I've not watched as many videos as Andy will have done because I do go to bed. But yeah,
jeez, he's having a dig at you today, isn't he? Hey?
It's not a dig. I know how much you think he'd have liked it. As soon as I seen it, I thought this is just what Andy did. If he hadn't started buying his modular and this had come out, he'd have got this straight away. But now he's going to have to save up like I have to save up. Yeah. So I think it looks great.
And the fact that you can just stick it in a case as well is also a big.
It is
good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Is it the same?
I honestly thought I thought Andy would
32
would like this too.
It's about the same size, it's 60 HP.
Because you're a bit of a Pittsburgh fan, aren't you, Andy?
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of their stuff. I mean, just there's some pretty wacky sound demos, which is good. It shows the latitude of this thing. It's not just the same old boring device. I haven't had a chance to watch all the videos yet, but the little clips I've heard and the appearance and the features that seem to be built into it are very compelling. And it'd be awesome for the little Moog Trio. Instead of buying the Mavis, buy this. It's I think only a tiny bit more money than a Mavis, and it does a hell of a lot more. And it'd be an awesome little companion for my other three modules in the rack, in the stand, as a little jamming set just by itself without the rest of the modular. And it's perfect if you put a power supply for Darren's park bench. So it's portable.
That's perfect.
Now, if you're wondering where you can get this from, you can get this from Create Audio, the guys that do the Nifty Case, Nifty Keys. You can get it through those guys. You can order it direct from them in the US, and in the EU. There's actually Proactive Audio in the EU is who's distributing it over your neck of the woods. In Australia, it's Found Sound. Who you can get it through. Ian,
Andy, did you check out Sarah Bell Reed's video on it? Because hers is slightly different to all the others. She's very much into noise music.
I didn't. I saw that one.
She always has.
I'd already watched 3 or 4, and I thought I can't watch the one. So if
hers are always slightly different to the usual.
Yeah. So she's the one with the ginger cat, right?
Yeah,
that's her. I watched that one.
Yeah, she's cool actually.
And her cat's called Tiger too.
I really liked it. Having said that, it made me think I should look again at the West Pest.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there was £800 for this. It's not for me, but I actually I'm interested in that. I mean, I know it's a sort of blend of the East Coast and West Coast sort of thing, which is an area that I've not really gone down. But actually, I did like the East Beast and the West Pest when I saw them at Synthfest. And I mean, for £200, I mean, what's not to like? So I was thinking, when I've got some spare cash, I'm more likely to go down that route. But obviously, the West Pest is designed by Richard, so and I'm sure it's nowhere near as good as the Tiger, but just to put a toe in the water, that would be it for me, really. But no, I liked it a lot.
Yep.
But
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I haven't got the money.
Let's go on to the next. Chatties are kind of what is that? Nothing showing there. I'll do the chatties first. So the chatties have disappeared. Everything's disappeared. Here we go. There we go. Chatties are kind of saying stuff, similar sort of thing to what you guys are saying. So watch the videos. Some of the videos are good. All that sort of stuff. Right. We go back to here. There we go. It's back now. Look at that. Isn't that weird? This thing, the Arcaico Dominus. Now, this is an interesting oscillator for Eurorack. It's a dual saw complex VCO with integrated wavefolder, and it's an Italian company, Arcaico. I've probably pronounced that incorrectly, by the way, as I usually do. They've already given us a couple of modules already. These guys, Tsar Drum, Warehorse, things like that. Anyway, 2 independent VCOs with 4 waveforms, saw, pulse, etc. 1 volt per octave input. Classic VCO controls, including frequency from 6 hertz. That's pretty low, which is like an LFO territory, all the way up to 24K. Fine tune and more. According to the developer, they have a stable up to 10 octaves. Now that's cool. I like to hear that because it's usually 5 and then it sort of slightly goes out of tune. And that's one thing that does my head in. And Andy, you were mentioning about tuning with your gig the other day. So stable tuning on an oscillator is a must in Eurorack land, if I must say so. Pulse width.
But sometimes it's not just the tuning. You see, my issue with that, those tuning knobs, they're huge. So you're gonna nudge them, and once you've nudged the tuning knob, that's it. You're in bloody la la land. It's really difficult. I'll pull the tuning knobs off now. Small tuning knobs that you can't nudge.
All right, there's a video.
That I can't nudge.
I actually haven't watched this video yet, so I hope there's no swearing on it.
Ready, George again. In today's video, we'll take a look at the new Dominus from Arcaico.
Arcaico, there we go.
Acid!
It's a good Italian beat, this one. Turn your effects off, mate. Come on.
Dominus is a complex oscillator. We have 2 identical oscillator sections. For each one, I can take the output for the sine, triangular, sawtooth, or square wave outputs. Both the oscillators have 1 volt per octave tracking, which works on a 10 octave range, as well as a hard sync input. Of course, we can do some operations between the 2 oscillator sections, such as hard syncing one of the 2 oscillators with the other one. Or modulate the pulse width over the square wave generation. We can then modulate the frequency of each oscillator by a linear or exponential FM input. We have to do this manually, taking one waveform from one oscillator and connecting this to the FM input on the other oscillator. I'm gonna use the Arcaico Gorgone, which is a filter, distortion and delay module, to get a more complex articulation from my oscillator.
All right, you guys get the idea. So, couple of things I noticed in there I kind of wasn't 100% sure about, and maybe someone who knows these guys a little bit better may be able to answer this or not. Yeah, patching. It seemed to me that do you have to put 1 volt per octave into both oscillators? Because that would be silly. What is it normalized? So if I just plug in, say, 1 volt per octave, say the keyboard into that, would that work across both without having to hard sync them? Of course, obviously, if you hard sync, I noticed that worked, but that would be annoying having to plug 2 1 volt per octave connections in. It looked like they were separate because when he went in and did that bit with the FM exponential and FM linear, he actually had to patch his own oscillator into itself to do that. And I thought that should be an option that's normalized, as in wired at the back, so that you can patch it, or it would be selectable as something. But anyway, these are just a couple of thoughts that I saw, and not having watched the video before, so this is like literally, I've just picked this up in the last second or so. Anyway, thoughts on the Akai, €295 for a 2 VCO complex oscillator. We use his words.
Even if you just think of it as 2 oscillators, that's not bad, and they're very flexible. And again, the sound is really interesting. I was getting a lot of sort of Erica synths from that, that sort of darker, growlier sort of side. And yeah, I've been quite interested in these sort of complex oscillator things that are around at the minute. The Make Noise XPO, not that you can get it at the moment, but is one, and I really am quite fascinated by that. So this idea of having 2 that you can easily use to influence each other, even if it's just to make your pulse width modulation move in slightly different ways. And I think that it's fascinating. I'm going to check this one out more. I hadn't heard of this one until this point. So 24 HP. Again, about the normalizing, I will be really surprised if it's not normalized. If it's I think that's so you can address them to both separately. But it would seem like a massive oversight if it's not if the 2 aren't normalized together. That would seem strange.
Yep.
But I don't know, so that's just an assumption.
Yeah. Anyone else want to comment on the Akai?
Yeah, Native VS has just made an interesting comment now, actually, about the Tip Top Buckler one. The 259 is also in a similar sort of territory, very much so.
Yeah, any kind of Buckler stuff's okay with me.
Well, quite.
The problem sometimes though with the Buchla stuff is, and this is not a dig at Buchla at all, because I love the Buchla sound, but if you're sort of heading down Eurorack world and you're wanting to get into Buchla, then some of the stuff that you might be going, wow, I want to get this, isn't actually Eurorack compatible. That's the first issue. It's a different power system. It's a different whatever. And then Tip Top obviously helped us out in that regard by bringing some Buchla stuff available to us, but it's limited. So you go down that route, and then you will start getting the itch of the Buchla, and you'll hit a wall because there's no more Eurorack stuff. In that sense, like if you were sort of trying to get the true the Buchla stuff, you can go on.
They're bringing them out gradually, though, aren't they? There are more coming. But
there are other manufacturers that make it
at a time.
Yeah. So, but I kind of feel like if you went to Modular Grid, you would, you knew what to search for. You could find other modules that did similar stuff, and it would complement your Tip Top stuff anyway. So, I thought 24 HP was a bit beefy though, to be honest. That's going to take up a fair bit of rack real estate for an oscillator. It's pretty beefy. Some massive knobs on them. Just to show you.
Look at mutable elements.
Well, yeah, or the some of those bigger modules from Make Noise and Dave Rossum and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not the biggest. And also the Waldorf What was that oscillator that they had called the
And
Yes.
NW1. I
Or
had
the
that.
wavetable
Yeah, it's,
thing.
it's,
NW1? That's it.
it's
Yeah.
nice.
That was
It's
huge,
nice, but
though.
it's big.
Yeah, huge. But then again, don't buy a 960 sequencer from Behringer if you don't like taking up rack space. Yeah, I got one too. Don't worry, Randy. Beautiful. Nice to see. Nice to see Native Instruments on. I haven't seen him for a while on here, so it's good to have him back. I think there was one more newsy thing. I think, or was that it? Oh, there was.
Oh yeah.
I did that on purpose. Do you remember the meme? There is literally well, let's call it a fart switch in the middle. I thought it was brilliant. You guys see this? To me, this is kind of like, how many takes on the same thing can we do? I'm not 100% sure if I kind of buy into this whole thing. But let's have a look. All right. Lovely little clean guitar sound going through it. Would have been nice to hear something else other than that. But anyway.
Crescent's just gone.
It's only for guitars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought that was ace. That was it's Cocteau Twins in a pedal, isn't it? That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's
it is,
it's
actually.
4 AD in a pedal.
What is,
and I
what
thought
is
that
with
sounded
this?
awesome.
Is this ensemble thing, right? Because us synthy people are kind of like, ooh, is that one of those really old ensemble
Selena.
sounds, like in the the Roland VP 330, or is that one of those? No, I don't think so. What do you guys think for $279
Lush.
Well, it's Strymon, so he knew it was going to be expensive.
Yeah, Strymon's not cheap.
Nothing. We've heard it. We've heard that sort of stuff. There's lots of pedals out there that'll do that. There was nothing unusual in that.
Yeah.
There's so many reverb pedals out there. I'm surprised there's any more algorithms left to do a reverb with.
Well, yeah,
I was waiting for the
Are they
fart
just-
sound.
Are these brand new algorithms? Are they not taken from like bits from like the Big Sky and things like that?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
Just like
as your
chopping a Big
head's
Sky
just
slowly and reverting a pedal.
It's for those who
Azure
can't
has
afford
just
a big
named
sky.
it.
Isn't
Azure
it?
has just named it.
Well,
Valhalla
you only need
Supermassive,
two of
which
them
is
and you've
free.
got more than a Big Sky.
Valhalla Supermassive. Yeah,
which I
Valhalla
love.
Supermassive
I
is
love it.
a million times better than that.
It-
Seriously.
It is, yeah.
Get
that
that,
in a
get that
puzzle, that'll
plugin.
be
It's
cool.
it is super
Yeah.
cool, that plugin.
Yeah.
I actually
When a
really
Supermassive
enjoy
going
it.
to put it into a Eurorack
Pedal.
module, then please.
Oh, no,
You'd have to take a
It
laptop.
needs a
out,
pretty
you know.
decent
Or a
CPU.
pedal.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
a Raspberry
Also, they
Pi
could have been
pedal.
clever. They could have been clever and used the German word FAHRT, which means drive, for a drive circuit.
Yeah.
Then you have fart for sure on there.
What was ensemble about it though? Like okay, yes, it chorused it up, right? It definitely you could hear it
That's all over
thicken, and you could hear it modulate, but it wasn't anything incredible. Like I think if you're going to use the word ensemble, I think it needs to have that vintage sound, doesn't it? I mean, that's what I expected to hear. And like Ian said, it's just another reverb from Strymon that sounds like another reverb.
Loads of these. They're going to shift bucket loads of them to shoegazer guitar bands. End of.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Strymon, but I love your Big Sky pedal. It's incredible. It's sitting over there, and I will never part with it. That didn't hit the Reverb Ranz's quick fire sale list. That's staying here. Don't worry about that. But yeah, some of their recent decisions I've scratched my head about. The one that was towards the end of last year when they brought that pedal out, and then they had Black Friday sale, they didn't reduce the price or anything like that. Some of those things.
Because there's one, isn't there, that's it's like the Big Sky, but it's got more knobs and things on it. And stuff. Is that called the
Night Sky?
Skylab or something? Night Sky?
Night Sky, was it? The Night
Skylab is the Eurorack one.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I've got the Magneto here, and it's an amazing module. I use it a lot. You can actually use it as a performance thing as opposed to it just being a tape delay thing. So it's really, really cool. So I'm not knocking Strymon in that sense. I'm just kind of knocking this particular product. I just don't think it's for me. I don't think it's for... I mean, do you guys agree? It's not for any of us, right?
Yeah. Eventide's guilty of that too.
I've got Big Sky. I love what you can say. I love the Strymon Big Sky, but I just feel like they're like sort of taking bits from a Big Sky, some algorithms from a Big Sky, and then putting it into a separate pedal each time. That's what it seems like. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but that's what it feels like, because they keep, so it's like, yeah. If you've got
like
Big Sky,
McDonald's, isn't it? They made a hamburger, and then they made another hamburger, and they made another hamburger, but at the end of the day, they're just hamburgers. So, put a different sauce on it, a bit of tomato on it. It's still a hamburger.
Can I use that?
And we really want steak.
Yeah.
Or a fish burger, or a chicken burger. Try something different. Fantastic. Veggie burger, said Chris. Strymon veggie burger. Just for the vegans. That'd be awesome. Okay.
I'll take the Impossible Burger, yeah.
That's it for the news.
Impossible Burger's great.
Impossible Burger. That's it for news.
Yeah.
Sloppy Joes are good. If you ever go to the US, if you've ever had a Sloppy Joe, they're awesome. I actually like those things. If they do them properly.
In the southern US, they make Sloppy Joes out of raccoon.
Ooh. I don't know if I'd like that, because I'd feel guilty.
Roadkill chef. Yeah,
I'd feel guilty, wearing the Daniel Boone hat and eating a Sloppy Joe at the same time. Anyway, we're going to get this segment out of the way. I'm starting to run out of time today. Got some scammy prices. I've found some more. Actually, kind of not scammy, but yeah. Let's start with this one.
Yes.
Are you after an Arturia mini freak? Are you after one? Well, you can buy one for £756. That's not a bad price at all. Luckily for me, I can't get it shipped here, so I can't buy it. But
it's in
you
Brighton.
guys can.
His mortgage
it's in
will be
Brighton.
massive.
Yeah.
That's why he's doing that.
Yeah. Hey, I wonder if what's his name?
It only says may not ship. It doesn't say won't.
Wonder if Marcus is going to pick one up. He lives down that neck of the woods. It's live. It is live, people. You can actually buy it. He's pulled the box open. You can actually have a look inside the box. It's a real micro freak. It's pretty freaky. And the price is still sitting at that. No one's made an offer yet.
But did he already register the plugin?
Yeah, that's a point.
What are people doing, hey? What about this? If you want to get yourself a Synclavier, why not print yourself one?
For parts not working.
This is really just head scratching stuff, right? And these guys, Tone Tweakers, they are synth people, so I don't know what the hell they're doing here. Anyway, this is live as well. So this looks like something that came from the 80s. Someone will actually know what these things are. What is it, a ribbon? A ribbon printer or something?
It's like a dot matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, completely unrelated to synths. But if you want it, you can buy it for $2,798.99 US. Going once, going twice. Anyway, enough of the scammy stuff. Let's look at a real synclavier. Hey, let's look at a real one, because it needed to happen. We can't like muck around with printers and stuff all day long. This is a really ridgy-dig one. I don't know if I would spend this sort of money on it, but this is $69,000 US. Now, just in case you guys feel sorry for me about the Australian dollar conversion, check out the live. $100,000 Australian. It's cracked it. What do I do?
I'd rather have a synclavier too.
True. True. Yeah. But he's got 1 million photos, so you know.
Yeah.
It's very lovely, but who cares? Really, these days.
Look at the screen.
I'm sorry.
Oh, the old trackball keyboard.
What is that? What
right.
version of Mac is that? That is an old version of Mac there.
Well, like Cy Alexander
Hey,
has
Tom,
an old Mac
I
to
think
run
less
his.
than that.
Yeah.
It's got the
Someone in chat
original,
will tell us.
original app logo.
Is that like Mac OS 5? Who knows?
It's at least System 7. It's got the color Apple logo. So.
Okay. So it's after 5. What else we got? What about this thing? EML prototype 1976. I thought this was interesting.
Oh, wow.
I haven't seen one of these things before. So $9,000.
No.
Live auction on Reverb. And not many photos, but let's have a little close look at them. This looks like something that someone's made. It did say a prototype, so you know it's all hand drawn graphics on there with probably with a Sharpie or something at the time. Done a really good job of it though. It's like very, very neat pen work. But yeah, there you go. Hey, who wants that? That's interesting. How many octaves is that? 2 octaves.
It's 2.5.
2 and a bit octaves.
Two, yeah.
It's a bit sparse.
And the last
2
one.
octaves, yeah. Oh, no, that's nice. Ooh, lovely.
Kawaii. Hey? The
Well,
SX
they're going to be
210.
commanded in those sort of prices.
Now these are analog synths. If you're ever wondering if Kawaii ever did analog synths, they did.
DCO.
Yeah, DCOs, but people get hung up on DCOs. DCOs are still analog oscillators. They're just digitally controlled. So
They're stable. Yeah.
they're stable, which I actually, believe it or not, I mean, that's why Junos are good, right? This is a live auction. Voice identifier. I'd like to see that voice identifier thing. There you go. Interesting. A lot of interesting stuff on that synth.
Well, I'm a huge fan of the SX240. It's better than the Juno. It's better than the AX80. It's better than lots of stuff I have. So
8 voices, 4 voices if you want to run this with 2 oscillators per voice. Now, this was kind of a common thing that they did in the day. They had a lot of synths that were 8 voices, but really, if you wanted to use the way that the oscillators are set up, were supposed to be set up so that you'd have two oscillators per voice. So really, technically, it's only a 4-voice polyphonic synth, but still very nice and not a bad price. $2,000 Australian. If that was not some insanely stupid shipping and it's in Italy, in Rome, I may be interested in something like that, because actually it's a beautifully made and a beautiful sounding synth. And like you said, Andy, it's very stable as well with the tuning. I do think there was one little thing that they didn't like about it. Someone said, I can't remember if it's this one or one of the earlier Kawais, they had like slow envelope generators or something. There was something about the envelope generators that people weren't quite 100% happy with on them. Maybe it had a Z80 in it or something. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, this guy in his description is saying that it's sort of the same sort of sound and feel as a Roland Alpha Juno sort of sound. if you kind of
It's in that ballpark, yeah.
yeah, you want to go that way. I don't think they use the same oscillators though, right? I think they use different oscillators.
No, and also like the 240s by timbre. I can't remember the 210. I don't think it is. So because you actually do splits on the 240.
Unison, you can do unison with the 210. I'm just going to have a quick look here. Good old vintage Synth Explorer. Can't see it. No.
Yeah, I got real lucky. The 240 is only about I think $700 about 6-7 years ago, something like that. It wasn't bad. Now it's crazy money.
Yeah, these were made in '83, so I believe it was kind of late '83. So it was more like '84 by the time the world sort of started getting hold of them. It does have an ensemble on it. Now that would be a real Hey Strymon, go check out the Kauai. There's an ensemble for you.
Does it have MIDI? That's a
Um,
question.
It
There is
should.
a
The
photo.
240 has
Does the
MIDI, but it's
240?
very primitive MIDI.
I don't think
It's like
the
note on,
210
note
did.
off. That's it.
No, the 210
It
didn't.
will be in those days. The 210 didn't have it. Okay.
No, 210 didn't have it. It did have. Oh, it's one of those ones that had the tape. It had the tape system, like the Korg.
240 has tape as well. You can't load patches with MIDI.
Yeah, like the Korg 800 series, like the Poly 800, the EX 800. They had the same thing. There was a
anybody ever
small
bother?
little period of time where that's what synth guys were doing. They were making. That's how you would restore and load your patches. Oh, geez, that was a pain in the ass. I remember that.
I'm
Yeah,
doing
the
that
volume
with
right too because it
46.
won't load
Bloody hell.
properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can actually, I've got an EX800. You can actually use your mobile phone.
Yeah, that's what I do.
What are the chatties saying? By the way, if you noticed that Manny's in the chat, I believe Manny just did a video on the 2500 stuff, which was pretty interesting. So
Good.
go check it out. Dr. Synth is in the chat. I actually enjoyed. I didn't get to watch it all, but I enjoyed some of it that I watched because I was kind of in a hurry today getting all the show together and that. But yeah, awesome. Well done. All right, we have finished everything. We've
Actually, a
finished
quick comment.
everything.
Wagyu is asking about the battery issue on it. So mine came with an ancient battery, and it's the typical soldered-in piece of crap battery. Right?
Oh, like the
so you have to
Vata.
cut the leads.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So I actually trimmed them. I found a cordless phone battery pack at Radio Shack, and put it in a little plastic tray so it's sealed, and even if it leaks, it's going to leak on the plastic tray, and it's never had any issues. So.
Yes. Now I kind of want to wrap the show up now because I'm still not 100% well yet, so I've got to look after myself. But I did want to have a quick discussion, and we'll try and keep it sort of relatively quick because I do need to finish the show, as I said. But I, as you know, have been selling my gear, and why not plug my own stuff? If you do want to buy some of my stuff, it's on Reverb. There's 15 things left. I might put some more stuff on there. There's some nice things there. There's a Blofeld. There is a Electron Analog 4. So yeah, get your stuff, get into it. There's also a couple of boutiques that aren't made anymore, like the Roland A01, which is a sort of controller and a sort of chiptune type
8-bit synth. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, and the prices are pretty good. They're showing in Australian dollars. I'm sorry, but that's my Reverb settings for doing that. But I do offer international postage, and some of that stuff like the boutiques and the Volkers and those sort of things, you don't need to worry about power conversion because those things, the wall warts on those things will convert themselves. Volkers don't even need power. You can just run them off batteries. They don't come with power. There's a famous Roland Gaia in there, Gaia SH01. It's the one that I repaired. There's a video of me repairing it. So I replaced I bought it from a pawn shop and it had orange. Someone had painted all the C keys orange with nail polish. Wow. And I just went, you're kidding me. So I just went to Roland and I said, send me some new keys. and I actually replaced it with actual Roland parts. So this guy is in really good condition. So yeah, there you go. Self plug. If you can only see two of the things on there, just message me. I'm pretty sure it's probably to do with postage in your area. So I can send you links to everything that's on there. There's 15 things on there at the moment. I am going to probably look at posting a couple more things up there. I don't know why it doesn't list everything. But anyway, yeah. Send me a link and I'll post more stuff up there. Now, the question is for you guys: are you hoarding gear?
Sure.
Yes.
Yep. How do you feel about that?
Well,
Guilty.
Be honest with yourself.
I have actually started to sell a couple of things. I've put my micro monster up for sale because I just don't use it. I mean, so. Plus, I have this rule now where it doesn't quite always work because it didn't work with the organelle, but one in, one out. So if I sell something, I can buy something else. It's my approach, really.
I mean, out of everyone here, I think you probably aren't hoarding as much as some others are.
No, I mean, I do have things that don't. I mean, I have a live rig, which is a couple of Korg synths and which literally stay in their cases unless I'm gigging, So they never end up in here. But and I've moved things around a bit. Like I've moved my Kronos out of here because I wanted to play more piano, and I also moved my Hydrosynth over here because at the back there it wasn't getting used as much.
That's the thing, not getting used, right? To me, that was the killer decision maker for me. And if it sat in a cupboard or a drawer or a box or something like that, after anything more than about 12 months, and it started getting dusty or whatever it was, I just went, okay, it's got to go because it's not getting used and someone else can actually use it. I'll be honest with you guys. I've got rid of 23 bits of gear so far since the start of January. I'll just give you an idea. Isla Instruments, S2400, Korg Radius, Electron Octatrack Mark II, a Roland Fender synthesizer wired guitar, couple of Moog. My favorite Moog went, the white one, which is the phaser one. I sold it. Roland GR55 guitar synthesizer. Wasn't using it enough. Things like the Era stuff like the TB03, the VT03, things like that. Heaps of stuff. And I've got rid of nearly all of my Volcas. I've only got 3 Volcas left. If you call... Actually, no, 2 Volcas left, sorry. I just sent my Volca FM off. My famous Volca FM too. That person who bought it from me, who lives in Alaska, has got the famous Volca FM that has the unofficial firmware that started that whole Volca FM unofficial firmware craze off with Pagin's custom firmware on it. He's got it now. So it's famous. He picked it up for a song too. It was very cheap. So basically, I wasn't using it. Why keep it? And I've still got 38 more things that I want to get rid of in here. I've listed it all on an Excel spreadsheet. Yep. Yeah. And that, Brooksy, that is not including Eurorack yet. I haven't even started looking at Eurorack yet. And I know if I do look into Eurorack, I know there'll probably be a couple of things in there that I'll probably want to move on as well. So that's the next thing that will happen.
Before you list them, give us a heads up, though.
Yeah, of course. So what has that sort of done for me? It hasn't made me feel any different. I don't feel bad.
No regrets.
I don't have any regrets.
You have more money.
I've got money in my bank. The bill that I had to pay off is slowly reduced. So that's nice to see that getting down.
More cupboard space.
You guys, is that something that you could do, or are you guys scared of doing it? I know Andy, right?
Well,
you've got a lot of stuff.
So, and I keep buying more shit too. Speaking of useless but fun, I got this the other day. You ever seen a Roland digital pitch pipe? It has a little circle of fifths on the top. It has a metronome on it. and it was cheap at the my favorite used store, so I had to pick it up, but I haven't used it yet. But anyway, so still buying dumb things. But the thing for me is I took a long time tracking this stuff down, collecting it, getting used to the new technologies at the time, having good examples of different types of synthesis to play with for different flavors and just working your brain differently. But I got deals on these things in really pristine condition. I'll never get these deals again. If I sell them now and ever want to get these things again in any decent condition, I won't be able to afford it. I won't find the quality. And those are kind of the main reasons I still have a lot of the stuff that doesn't get used much. I don't have enough time in the day. If I retired, then yeah, I'd just be using everything nonstop. And thankfully for Hardware Jams, it's forced me to bust out crap I haven't used for years and just try it again and use it and get some use out of it. So I still have a handful of things, well, more than a handful of things that I haven't touched in probably 2 years maybe, just because of no time. But it's not because I don't want to use them. Even the worst thing I have has some use. It's just a matter of being busy with work and other stuff and time. But you know, it's just like the future plans kind of stuff. But I can see why people offload stuff they don't touch. It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I
mean, what you said about the stuff that you got at a good price and you probably won't be able to replace it again kind of was one of the things that was tripping me up as I was making my list. And there was a few things that left here that actually ticked that box. The Moog-Foga, the white Moog-Foga phaser pedal, for example. I used to rave about that thing on my show all the time. But the price that I got for it was so good compared to what I paid for it. And it's not that rare. I mean, I could probably get another one down the track if I really, really wanted to. But the thing is, the plugin that Moog brought out a few weeks ago, it sounds just as good. It's almost identical. It's obviously digital. It's not perfect. And I've got plenty of other phases here that can achieve pretty much the same thing. So for me, it wasn't like one of those things that really had to be here. So
that's
you have to,
well, like for Ty gets
truth.
stuff in really good shape, and he won't sell because he knows he won't find the equivalent quality instrument very easily, and if he does, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
before my JD800 got the red blue thing, rooms. It was pristine. You know.
Yeah.
I got a pristine JD800 for $400 like 10 years ago, and it was pristine.
Yeah.
But then the red glue happened and not pristine anymore. But
yeah. Oh, speaking of that, so I wanted to sell my Ableton Push, and I haven't used it for ages, like probably 3 years. So I pulled it. It was in a box. I pulled it out of the box, and all the surface of it suffers from that rubberized sticky paint syndrome.
Sticky,
and I'm like, no, I'm not even going to get $5 for this thing. You know, it's gone. And then I thought, I might take this thing apart and see if I can fix it. So I took it apart and I rubbed with all of my elbow grease that I had in me, isopropyl alcohol over it, and it fixed.
Oh yes, alcohol will do it.
Yep, it fixed it, and I put things.
Isopropyl is great, but it can take your labels off, so you got to be careful.
It didn't because in this particular case there were no labels on the push. It's literally just it's where all the pads sit on top. And there's literally no labels on it. Okay. So it was
that
perfect.
Push 1 or 2 rounds?
Push 1, yeah, the first one. And then I put it up on Reverb. I told everyone on the listing, hey, I've pulled this thing apart. I've repaired the rubberized sticky paint issue. I said, actually, if you look at all the other listings on Reverb, how do you know that they're not suffering from the rubberized sticky paint? Because you can't tell them by the photos. So I was being honest with it. And this guy bought it off me, and I still made $100 Australian for it. So I thought, yeah, that's a win. It took me about half an hour to clean the thing, put it back together, maybe an hour, I don't know. For $100, I thought, yeah, this thing was just sitting in a cupboard taking up space, and someone's going to give it some love now, and it's got another lease of life because it's not sticky anymore. So that's the way I saw things. I did. I pushed one out. Said Sonic, doing the jokes. So anyway, if you do have gear and you've got the rubberized sticky paint issue, isopropyl alcohol, do that.
Cool.
Yeah, there's your answer.
I had a controller that was the same. That did the same. All the sliders were like that.
Yeah,
managed to be able to pull them off and actually clean them all up. And then so
I got
and it did the same thing.
Arturia Mini Brute with the same problem.
My Mini Brute's the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys in the chat were saying similar stuff, cracking the jokes. But yeah, look, if you're sort of holding on to gear, give yourself permission to move it on to someone else who will probably use it. If you're not one of these people that has to keep it for whatever reason. I had this theory where, I've used it on an album, so I should keep it. And then I thought, I had a chat to someone about this, and they said, what are you talking about? You've recorded it, you've done the stems. What do you need to keep the piece of gear for? You've done everything you need to do to keep that track alive for the rest of its life. Don't hold on to it just because you recorded it. It's not like I'm Michael Jackson or something. Do you know what I mean? It's not like that sort of thing. So, yeah. Inverted Popes is in the process of doing exactly that, he says. So, good on him. Good on you. And believe it or not, it's a very liberating feeling when you move gear on that it's just sitting there and it's reminding you, hey, you haven't touched me, and you're like, I don't want to touch you. You're too hard to use, or you're sticky, or or you're too dusty, or whatever. Yeah, move it on. Exactly.
I don't know why I bought you in the first place.
Yeah. Why did I spend all that money on you? Oh, and that's the other thing that really does disappoint you is when you go and you think, oh, this thing's still worth a bit, isn't it? And you go and find out how much everyone's selling them for, and you think, Korg Volkers right now, the pants out of that market is literally gone.
Yeah.
I know probably maybe 20, 30 years down in the future, someone will, they'll be a thing again, but every man and their dog's got a Korg Volker. They're everywhere. So, yeah, don't hold on to your Korg Volkers, people. Honestly, they're not worth anything. They're really not.
The other thing I found out is stuff you don't use much, because I had acquired some new stuff and I put my DW8000 to the side.
Yeah.
And you think, digital is not like analog. It's going to be fine. It was working perfectly last time I used it.
No.
And then one time I just turned it on and snake eyes, right? And no matter what I did to it, I cannot get it to work. So I had to find a local guy to fix it. I bought a second one that seemed okay online, but it's one of those at your own risk purchases. And I thought, I might just need to do the firmware update and this other thing you can do and all that stuff. Same boat. So I have two boat anchors that are digital that,
And some
they're
of them
treated well, but just still failed.
Some of them are the main boards too. And in some cases, I was talking to a guy who had like an EMU thing that went, and the main board on it's gone, and you will never ever get that thing back unless you know someone who knows really intricate electronic work. The digital stuff.
And my DW8000 had problems with its keys. It got to the point where you couldn't actually play it because they weren't triggering properly. It's fine to use it as and you stick a controller keyboard on it. It worked fine, but I could never use the actual keyboard on it.
Yeah,
but I mean, I sold it as seen, and somebody bought it, which was good to get rid of it, really.
So I'm in the process at the moment of repairing my Ensoniq ESQ1 because it doesn't work properly. But in my case, it's lucky because it's not the chips. It's the dreaded capacitor issue. And so I've got to go back through the whole circuit board and desolder all the electrolyte caps and put new ones on them. So, but it's a fairly easy job. It's just a pain in the ass. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's expensive. So yeah. By the way, doesn't mean I'm still not gonna buy new gear. So the other cool thing is, gear goes out, gear can go in.
Gear comes in.
So it's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. And look in here, nothing's changed in here. So that's kind of the big thing, right? So if you look around here,
yes, it has Ranz. I can tell there's an echo now in the room.
There is not. There is not.
No, there isn't. No, there isn't. There is no echo.
Like the eurorack with the empty spots, echo. You have to fill it, right? You got to fill them.
You do. All right, guys. Well, we should wrap up this show. Nice having you all. Nice having the chatties as well.
Nice to be back.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's good to see you all.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the topic's going to be next week, but if you guys ever think of that you want to talk about something for the show, do flick me a message and hey, we can set that as a topic, or we can just have a free for all topic where we just don't set one.
Free for all.
Yeah,
that was quite fun.
We can talk about Brooksy's car for a whole show.
Darren.
What's on your mind?
No, we're not talking. No, we're not
Sorry,
talking about my bloody car. No, I have a car. It's lovely. It's better than the one I had before. It's great. It's proper chavvy. It's got go faster stripes.
It's got 4 wheels.
I love it. It's got 4 wheels.
What kind is it?
It's just a little Kia Picanto, but it's the slightly snazzy, sporty version. So it's really great. It's such a great car. It really is a great little car.
Ah, beauty.
I don't need anything bigger because there's only me. I don't have to get 15 kids and a dog in it, so it doesn't matter. Only me.
But you need
Yeah,
to
but
get
you need to
15.
get a lot
I know
of
you've got
transfer
Eurorack,
hatchback.
I say you need 15 cents,
15
but
cases of Eurorack.
It accommodated the Go case and the 104 times 2 case and the Beat Step Pro and the Keystep Pro and the cables on the box of that quite comfortably. Thank you very
And
much.
what he didn't tell you is it's got a roof rack as well as a trailer.
It hasn't got a roof rack in the trailer. That was silly.
They're pretty small, those cars, Darren.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows what sort of
They
car
are
it is.
pretty small. They are
They're
pretty
pretty
small. But I'm
small.
telling you, I managed to get the.
you can't swing a cat in one.
Even in the boot, I haven't got a cat to swing.
Well,
Shut up.
I could say
That's
something,
how
and I'm going to get in trouble if I do. Anyway,
Brilliant.
thank you, everyone. Thank you, all the
Why I wouldn't want
chatties.
anybody else.
And I hope you enjoyed the little jam at the start. I thought I'd play with the ER1.
Actually, Rant, I never
that
got a
was
chance
pretty
to say this. I thought that sounded. You've got an ER1, have you? I'm interested because that was really cool. I thought that sounded excellent. What you were doing with that, with the modular, all the different things coming in and out, and well done. Really good little jam.
Thank you. Yeah, just playing with the switches on the mixer and just muting things and unmuting, and yeah, it's good fun. It's
Is
kind
that
of
a modded
you
one?
feel like you're in an aeroplane cockpit, you know, all the switches and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Did you
All
mod,
best.
Did you mod that ER1? Is that a stock?
No. It's just sitting on the desk in front of me. There he is.
This is that cool mod for it.
Yeah. We got to go. I got to disappear. Thanks, guys.
Right.
to bed.
Wave goodbye
Take
to
care,
everyone.
Nice
Bye,
to see you
everybody.
all.
Okay.
Bye, chatties.
Right,
Bye.
see you, chatties.
I'll take care.
Right.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.